a lot? Because apparently it seems that Crunchyroll has been doing crime for the past 5 years. Now, this is going to be an interesting case. I've not been using Crunchyroll for a bit, but ooh, this seems spicy.
Well, guys, it turns out that Crunchyroll has committed a federal crime. And it's not something that they've done in just one instance. It's something that they've been doing for the last 5 years.
No way.
We only found out about it very recently, though, on October 25th, when David Wald, a voice actor, tweeted that if he's been sent anything in the last 5 years in terms of fan art, fan letters, anything, then he has not received it because apparently Crunchyroll has been stealing all of it. This is in direct violation of US federal law.
Wait, they yoinked it? Yoink! They yoinked it, man.
More specifically, the US Code 1702, obstruction of correspondence. This has gone absolutely viral. Everyone is talking about it if they're in the anime sphere in the West. And I feel like it's not only the perfect opportunity to raise more awareness on this disgusting behavior, but to also sit down with you and show you why Crunchyroll has been a terrible company for years now, and that this only adds more to their shady, unpleasant history.
I will be honest with you. When Crunchyroll was really small and starting up, I was subbed to Crunchyroll for years. But I unsubbed to Crunchyroll because they had like a lot of like region blocks and stuff like that, which is getting annoying. It just got really annoying. Like whenever they really fucked up the extension that you block, like fixed the region block, I was just like, okay. And then also like they have a lot of like translator that have like a weird, they put their personal political view into the translation. And I just like, okay, so I'm not getting the proper translation here at all. So I just kind of unsubbed. I saw no reason to be more subbed anymore.
Let's talk about it. So Crunchyroll, as it stands, is the biggest anime distributor / streamer in the West. So if you're outside of Asia, this is most likely the service that you're using for anime, unless you're a pirate. Some people, and even publications like the South China Morning Post, credit Crunchyroll for turning Japanese anime.
I bet Crunchyroll it depends where you are in the world, I think.
Mainstream in the West. It's a very impressive company with its size in non-Asian countries and its catalog. But it wasn't always this anime licensing sweetheart. In fact, at some point, Japanese license holders wanted to take the website down. You see, the website was founded in 2006, and back then it was a pirating website. Not a single thing on this page is legal. But it wasn't
I had no idea.
just about anime, it was about anything. Whether it be Asian drama, things related to video games, it was like YouTube, but for pirates, where anything could be uploaded. There were no limits, except maybe adult videos.
Remember that?
This is the exact
I don't. I feel like I've seen that logo before, but like I remember the reason why I wanted Crunchyroll was to watch anime on my phone.
Website you would have seen in 2006. Bleach's 108th episode had just come out, and Naruto's 214th episode had just come out as well.
Bro, I bet people are in my chat are probably younger than when this episode came out.
Crazy time capsule. In 2008, they somehow convinced a venture capital firm by the name of Venrock, based out of Palo Alto, California, to invest $4 million into them. After this, they sought to become
Bleach?
A legitimate
in my opinion, it's the best anime, but the problem is that I think a lot of people think it's the house a lot of filler and something, and I might also have a honeymoon phase like view on it, because it's the first anime I ever watched. But I loved it. Like I loved the hell out of it. I thought Bleach was amazing. But like also the new seasons are so good. The new seasons are so good, so good.
To share anime content. On January 8th, 2009, they signed a deal with TV Tokyo to host episodes of Naruto Shippuden. Obviously, you can see how big of a deal that is. And immediately started to delete all the illegitimate content on its website.
Now, this is how I remember Crunchyroll. Yes, this is how I remember Crunchyroll. Wow.
That they don't hold rights to. They then continued to get more and more anime licensed from Japan for their Western audience. And you know what? They had a talent. They knew how to choose the animes that they licensed and then translated. Because of course, there's a lot of anime that gets made every single season. This is what made them different. No one could really compete that much with them because anime wasn't really seen as a big deal until very recently. This is when Sony decided to create Funimation, a direct competitor of Crunchyroll, back in 2017. Now, of course, seeing that it's Sony, they had one hell of a lineup of popular anime, but they didn't really know how to pick more underrated ones that the Western audience would enjoy. At least, not as well as Crunchyroll did.
Because the thing is that there's a very interesting thing about anime is that there's a big interest for some things in the West, and there's a different big interest in the East for Japan. Like, the funniest thing is that you remember when Jujutsu Kaisen, this is my best, I think this, I probably have a bunch of examples, but this is the one coming up to my mind now. Remember when Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man came out? Were you guys there when it came out? Because if you looked at the West was extremely excited for Chainsaw Man. Nobody, the care for Jujutsu Kaisen was like mid. Like, there were people like wanting to watch it. People were interested in it. But Chainsaw Man, everybody was thinking and looking at that as that gonna blow it out of the... It's gonna be the best anime of the year. Everybody was so excited of it. But what happened in Japan is the factor that Chainsaw Man decided to put money into making a unique intro and outro, I believe, for every episode. And they had only 12 episodes, while Jujutsu Kaisen had 24 or 28 episodes and put a lot of money into marketing. And the way, because Jujutsu Kaisen is extremely a big copy of Bleach, it just hits the right market of interest for the Japanese audience, top of the advertisement. So which show ended up making the most revenue and having more season afterwards? Jujutsu Kaisen. Even though Chainsaw Man was way bigger in the West on release, which one is the biggest one now? After all of this, it's because Jujutsu Kaisen, because it has been able to release like 2 or 3 seasons and a lot of content because of its amazing launch in Japan. And now, and movies, yeah, and now all of these things have been like overshadowing Chainsaw Man, and people are now not talking as much about Chainsaw Man. If I mention in chat, everybody will talk about Chainsaw Man. But if I'm going to go to TikTok, which anime am I going to see the most of? It's going to be Jujutsu Kaisen, because that one is still being produced more and more content that is not only manga form. And my point B is that the interest on both, like in Japan and the West, are completely different. And the one that matters the most is actually the Japanese one for the publisher, the one investing into anime, because there's an investment firm. It's a weird way they're doing it, but an investment firm is the one paying for all of the animes. So if they see it does well in Japan, they will invest in more into it and more into the manga and stuff like that. But if they don't see it, they don't care about it. So that's why all sales in Japan is what matter, and not really that much in the West. It does matter to a bit, but not as much. But regardless, so whenever you have Sony, that's a Japanese company trying to focus on making a subscription base, a subscription site that is more for the West, and they don't have that view of Western interests and find those small shows and small animes that West likes the most, it's going to be like, obviously Crunchyroll is going to know more of their shit.
But honestly, who cares? You have an industry and you have multiple competitors all trying to do their own thing. That's very healthy. But unfortunately, that didn't last too long. In August of 2020, there were reports coming out that Sony actually wanted to buy Crunchyroll. Things were advancing. They had offered $1.1 billion to buy it, but on March 24, 2021, as things were coming to a close, the United States Department of Justice extended its review of this because they thought that maybe, just maybe, this could become a monopoly of anime outside of East Asia.
Good.
Somehow, okay, some way. I don't know who got bribed, who got threatened, but it got approved. And in August 2021, the deal was finalized. It was one of the biggest mistakes in the anime industry, because this effectively meant that Sony had become the major monopoly when it comes to anime content outside of Asia. Seeing that Sony owns so many anime streaming websites, including Wakanim, which was in France, they decided to merge everything into Crunchyroll, really solidifying the idea that they're now a monopoly. One of the main reasons why people hate Crunchyroll and of course Sony is due to this monopoly. I mean, look at this email that was sent to existing Funimation customers when the merger happened. The first few paragraphs are reassuring you that, hey, don't worry, your account info isn't going to change, your watch history, all your preferences, everything is staying. But then you read the final paragraph and it says this: as part of our transition to Crunchyroll, the price of your new Crunchyroll plan will increase from $55 a year to $1.
Oh, that's like nearly 100% increase. Are you nuts? And I can write on Google, watch anime free, Big Booba, and I will find it all. Why would I pay $100 a year for this?
$100 a year beginning January 28th, 2025. So yes, the price you were paying had effectively doubled overnight, and you couldn't do anything about it. What were you going to do about it? Go to a different service? Oh wait, Sony owns everything and now it's under Crunchyroll. But even worse, and I think this is probably the worst part in all this, Funimation had something Crunchyroll didn't. Instead of having to pay for a subscription, you could just flat out buy the anime that you wanted digitally so you could watch it anytime. Well, Sony said, F you and what you own, you don't actually own anything. This was the explanation Crunchyroll gave you when you inquired about your Funimation digital copies.
They said, crazy.
We understand that you may have concerns about your digital copies from Funimation.
12 euros, but it's 12 euros a month, right? So if you calculate 12 euros and you multiply that by 12, I mean, it's over $100. It's over 100 euros then as well.
Note that Crunchyroll does not currently support Funimation digital copies, which means that access to previously available digital copies will not be supported. However, we are continuously working to enhance our content offerings and provide you with an exceptional anime streaming experience. We appreciate your understanding and encourage you to explore the extensive anime library available on Crunchyroll. So this was a very disgusting corporate...
And I do want to say this, by the way. When I subbed to Crunchyroll, it was 5 euros a month. So I do want to point that out. You're mentioning how much you're paying now. But when I subbed to Crunchyroll, it was 5 euros a month. I don't remember last time I was subbed, but it's been a bit. But like, it used to be way cheaper. It was $4.99.
Speak way of saying that everything you own is now in the gutter. You will never be able to access it again. F you. I mean,
I think 5 years is fair, yeah.
Gamers should get used to not owning their copies. Look at their stock price.
I hate that.
You do not want to be like Ubisoft.
No.
This is what a monopoly actually looks like, and it's terrible. That's not the only thing, though. Look, anime is Japanese.
I think that... What's the quote by Gabe again? What's the quote by Gabe again? Like, piracy is only inconvenience? The king is calling. Is he going live? I don't know. Anyways, it's about the inconvenience, right? And whenever they're causing more inconvenience, it will just move more people onto piracy.
It was created in Japan. Crunchyroll knows this, and they actually have a studio in Shibuya, Tokyo to make original anime. At some point, though, they decided to use subscription money to create their own studio in Burbank, California to make anime within the United States. As you can see from the rating, 1.6 out of 10, that was an utter disaster. High Guardian Spice is the biggest piece of shit to come out of anime in the last 10 years. It was marketed as anime for diverse groups, most notably highlighting their LGBTQ+ representation. Well, you know you fucked up when even people in the LGBTQ+ hate this show to death. Like, no one likes this. This is terrible. When you become a monopoly, you become lazy and complacent. You stop taking risks, and you completely forget what made you great in the first place. This show is proof of that. Oh, and let's not forget that at the end of 2023, they had to settle a class action lawsuit with their own consumers because they violated the United States Video Privacy Protection Act by disclosing its subscribers' personally identifiable information to third-party companies like Facebook, Adobe, etc. Of course, it's a very large list. They initially tried to deny the claim, okay? They lied, but then settled anyway to avoid any uncertainties or expenses associated with continuing the case. So not only were they a monopoly, not only did they double the price of annual subscriptions and are offering nothing to show for it, they were also selling their own users' data.
Oh, nice. Nice, bro. We got the whole like triangle of great deeds to do. Amazing.
By the way, the settlement was terrible. It was $30 per Crunchyroll user. Like, wow, thanks. My data probably cost more than that. But these 3 reasons I just gave you, I think, are enough for you to think, wow, this is a terrible, lazy monopoly that can do whatever it wants because no one can even compete. This brings us back to the crime that they committed against David Wald. Now look, David Wald is a seasoned voice actor. He's been in the industry for a long time. He doesn't just dub anime, which is the act of voice acting English dialogue for something that isn't originally in English, but he also voice acted in games. Some of the biggest animes he's dubbed in were Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, or even Vinland Saga. Now you'd think that Crunchyroll would give a veteran voice actor like himself the respect he deserves. Well, no. It turns out Crunchyroll has been receiving packages meant for David and distributing them to staff instead without him knowing.
Wow. That is such a cock move to do. That's such an asshole move to do. Holy shit. How are they? It's illegal, right? How could they do this? Why would they do that?
5 years. Look at this tweet as an example. He says, "Dear fellow workers at Crunchyroll, below is a photo of the complete contents of one of the packages addressed to me that was open and distributed to employees. If you ended up in possession of any of it, I would very much like it returned to me." And as you can see, there are many things here. I should mention, all of this is handmade, even this, even though it looks like an official magazine. The character itself is Inosuke Shindo, and this is someone that David voices in dub. And Harumi quote tweeted this, saying, "I remember when my friend put this together to send to you. It was a group effort. Everyone was so looking forward to you getting it. This is extremely heartbreaking." David replies and says, "I promise you the situation will be rectified. We're just lucky you sent me a photo of the unique contents and the USPS tracking info." To which Harumi said, "It was all their efforts in doing so. I really hope this gets resolved. I'm so sorry to hear about this." So imagine taking so much time to make a care package like this specifically for the person dubbing your favorite character in an anime and finding out so much later that no, it was just passed around employees and he never received it. I mean, imagine how David feels having something like this made specifically for him and not even receiving and not even being notified.
I'd be pissed. I'm gonna be real. I'd be freaking pissed. That is awful. Like, how often do you think a voice actor gets like fan mail like this? Or like get handcrafted stuff like that? Probably not like that often. They probably get it, but probably not that often. And you see a fan takes care and love and creates something of themselves and give it to you, and the workplace just takes it and give it to random like places and people instead of you. I'll be mad. I'll be furious.
It's insane. There was a quote tweet saying that
Thrown
all the
away,
employees
probably,
should be fired
yeah.
for this, but David specified the employees are definitely not to blame. They just walked by the company freebies table and thought something looked cool. The management who elected to take this course of action, however, are another matter. If you work in a company that does a lot of collaborations, you'd understand this perfectly. The companies you work with will send you freebies all the time, and you take them. But someone else in higher management getting a package that says David Wald.
If even you quit the company, they like you get sent it like later on, or they call you or tell you that there's stuff there that you've been receiving in their office. You can come and pick it up anytime. Like it's completely normal. This is just weird. Like, I don't understand why they would do this.
Choosing to open
management
and
problem
then
it is,
distribute
yeah.
it to employees, that's something else entirely. I've also seen some people say, well, why didn't he just put his home address? This is partly his fault. Well, think about it
Are you stupid? Huh? Home address?
this way. If there was a crazy obsessed fan out there, wouldn't they just go to his house, knock on the door, and leave a package for him personally? What David did is actually very common.
Yeah.
If you're watching this video and work in an office, you probably do the same thing. Maybe you send your Amazon packages to your office, that way you receive them on the job.
Yeah.
And with no
it's
one
very
letting
normal.
him know that there's a package that arrived at Crunchyroll, like, how would he know? The only reason he knew about this was because the people who sent it gave him the tracking info. He saw it arrived and that he never received it.
No, it's extremely normal to order something and send it to your work, because every time delivery comes up or shows up and deliver, it's always during your work hours. So why would they not just deliver at work? And even with the times you're not there at work, it's just normal for like management or people out there just putting in like a specific, like they usually have like a room for it. I just don't get that. Like, this is such a silly thing to do wrong. Like, it's just so weird to fuck this up. Why would you do this? As big as they are.
Here. So what the hell happens next? As you might have already guessed, stealing mail in the United States is a federal crime. I'd love to sit here and tell you that this is going to be the end of Crunchyroll, but the law itself is actually pretty damn vague. According to Legal Mindset, who is a lawyer on YouTube that I like to reference sometimes whenever there are legal problems, This line right here that says, before it has been delivered to the person
And
to whom it was
law.
directed, is the problem. So the law itself says, oh yeah, if you tamper with something before it's delivered to the person, you're in trouble. But what is the person? It says the person to whom it was directed. Well, technically the package says David, sure, but the address is Crunchyroll HQ.
No, I don't think that matters. It's directed to him. Like, it's a workspace, right?
When the judge looks at this, they will actually side with Crunchyroll, unfortunately.
Wait,
Because
really?
technically the package arrived at the right address. Whether someone else opened it or tampered with it doesn't really matter. You're not the only one to think that this sucks, but unfortunately that's the legal reality. I do hope that the higher up manager though suffers direct consequences, because this is disgusting, and we have to ask this question. How many other voice actors are going through the same thing without even knowing? This is why
US law is weird. I'm gonna be real with you. Every time I talk to you about US law, it's like the wildlands there. Like it's the wild, wild west. You never know what's like what you can do is like nearly anything there. It's nuts.
Statement from Crunchyroll ASAP. Crunchyroll has been in absolute silence. Everyone has been replying to their tweets asking for answers, and they only gave one on the 27th of October, 2 days after David Walt's tweet. A Crunchyroll spokesperson told Anime News Network that it's investigating the situation. Here's the full statement. Anime fans have a special connection with dub voice talent, and that emotional expression is important in fueling more love of anime content. We are currently investigating the matter regarding the allegation of undelivered fan mail to a voice actor. We respect the privacy of all our voice actors and do not intentionally open mail or packages not intended for Crunchyroll. Any fan mail should be sent directly to talent and their management. That last sentence in particular is pretty damn dirty. Like, yeah, sure, okay, you can say that, but you could have also called David 5 years ago or just sent him an email 5 years ago when the first package came and told him, hey, your fan mail shouldn't be coming to us, it should come to you. But no, instead, you chose to open it for 5 years, distribute it for 5 years, and only now are caught because he had a tracking number from a specific fan. So again, Crunchyroll is yet in another controversy, and they come out extremely unlikable, as if it's effortless for them. Of course, David's allegations don't end here. He says in a tweet shortly after revealing that his mail's been stolen, saying, me thinking, geez, it's a good thing I didn't tell them about the gay discrimination, or the medical discrimination, or the union busting, or the continuous culture of fear, or the hostile workplace environment.
We gotta get him. We gotta give this guy a microphone. I want him to pop off live.
Or 3 dots. Additionally, another voice actress by the name of Alexis Tipton replied to his tweet saying, oh my god, what the f***, adding this to the fact that they constantly give out free merch to the employees and voice actors aren't allowed to participate. We also no longer get free copies of our own work. We don't even get invited to Christmas parties. We are just a product. Look, there's a big worry already within the voice acting community that AI is going to come in and steal all their jobs. The fact that Crunchyroll treats their voice actors like complete, utter, disposable trash on the street tells me that they're probably already looking into AI technology to not have to hire voice actors ever again. Monopolies suck, and I hope that Crunchyroll gets what's coming to them. I also hope that David can get all of his stuff back. But
I think that their reputation is being damaged more and more. Like the thing is that in the end of the day, it's all about reputation, and the space for piracy is so easy. I don't see why you would use this. And even phone piracy is now apparently really easy for when it comes to like anime. So I think that the more they damage it, the worse it gets, less people will be interested. And they might have a market. There might be people buying it because of convenience. And $12, who gives a damn? $15, who cares? It doesn't matter. But they will lose customers for this. That does not change the fact they will lose customers, and they'll lose more and more, and people will be less likely to recommend them to their friends.
Fortunately,
and word of mouth is the biggest form of advertisement there is.
The idea of a lawsuit doesn't really seem very viable, or at least that's what legal experts say. Guys, stay safe out there, and if you have any important mail coming your way, do not list your company as the address. Just send it straight to your door instead.
No, if you're in Europe, it's not an issue, man. It's not an issue in most places in Europe, as far as I know. I mean, again, like every European country has their own law, but as far as where I worked, it's been fine. It's not been an issue. Same with Japan. It was not an issue.
See you in the next video, whenever that is.
Actually, no, it was. No.
I love you. Mwah.
Huh? It was okay. Anyways, that sucks, man. I mean, like, again, damn, can we get an L for Crunchyroll? That sucks. I didn't know they were doing all of this. I wonder if this guy will pop off a little bit more on Crunchyroll if we're here like a little bit more a little bit more about like the other situation was talking about. I think this is awful. I don't think anything's going to happen to Crunchyroll, but their reputation, public reputation, is definitely being damaged. Tell me down below what you think. If you like this video, make sure to click the like button, sub to the channel if you want to watch more reacts, and come by my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Ali. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.